The mysterious stranger returns to act out their plan, and zero tolerance and zero surprises, really. Hey guys, MasakoX here. We are continuing something that was relatively unusual on this channel, and that is the idea that a what if could spawn a completely different what if scenario from the original. And why is that? Well, the first one kind of ran out of steam since both of the protagonists were no longer in the limelight, but there was still enough of a story beat to keep it going, so yeah. We need to find out more stuff in the story. So this is basically breathing new life into that universe that was already made. And yeah, instead of what if Gero and Frieza teamed up part 4, since the two of them aren't there anymore, this is part 2 of a brand new story. A story that is all about two of the biggest good boys in Dragon Ball meeting up and becoming good friends. It's just so pure and something that was so much nicer than the venom of Gero and Frieza, despite the desire for technological prowess between the two of them. We ask you lot, what if Android 16 and the new Broly met up? Or technically, teamed up? And if you're still confused, let me recap what I said last time out about the whole thing. So before future Trunks could come back in time and deliver his warning to the Z-Fighters, a figure, a mysterious stranger, came to Gero and got him to prepare for Frieza's intervention and collaborate with the Emperor. From there, things were seriously upping themselves in the stakes department, something Dragon Ball could really need. And last time we were in this scenario, Dr. Gero had successfully managed to justify his usefulness to the tyrant. He got his wish and ended up leaving with Frieza and King Cold, much to future Trunks' surprise. Impressed by the aforementioned technical prowess, Gero was allowed to move some of his lab equipment onto the ship. With the combination of space-worthy tech and the greatest, or at least boldest minds on Earth, we have managed to get a much more perfected version of Mecha Frieza, something that's indistinguishable from the original thing, looking practically like the original counterpart. That is until the stranger came by and basically ended Gero after serving his purpose, and Mecha Frieza was destroyed and everyone ended up really badly done over. And in the last part, our remaining members of the Dragon team were making their way to New Namek to try and fix the situation that they'd found themselves in, where the majority of the Saiyans and people that they knew were wiped out with a calculated challenge. However, they found themselves on Vampa, where Broly and Paragus were just happening to be chilling with not much to do but eat bug juice for the rest of their lives. Well, until they were rescued, but that could have been ages. But this time it wasn't Chilai and Lemo that found them. It was the Krill Dog gang. However, the idea of the Dragon Balls were revealed to Paragus through surreptitious means, eavesdropping, and he is going to want to get something in return throughout all of this, despite being rescued, and then use his son possibly to retrieve some kind of retribution or stability for once. What might happen? Well, we'll find out now. Back in the coldness of space, the interstellar adventure of Krillin, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, along with their brand new ally in the form of the Brobot 16, as well as the new passengers Broly and Paragus, are making their way throughout space. And despite the two Saiyans not being exactly the most comforting of passengers out there, they haven't tried yet to turn on them or act funny, so there is that going for them. Their mission? To find extremely well-hidden New Namek and ask Porunga a wish in order to bring back Piccolo so that it can maybe at least try to prepare for the mysterious stranger who plans to be bringing destruction to the mortal world very soon indeed. The problem is with this whole idea is that Frieza's ship, the one that they're on right now, and the navigational computer on it, doesn't exactly have the most up-to-date information regarding New Namek. In fact, New Namek isn't on it at all. And unfortunately, our guys can't even rely on the likes of King Kai to tell them or give them a clue. He's not very eager to contact either Goku, New Namek, or anyone after what happened. You know, he doesn't want to risk anything going bad, especially with that mysterious stranger lurking around. That guy certainly gave the guy rather bad vibes. They're on their own. Or are they? Without the means to find New Namek and without the means to ask for help from the other world, they can't even ask Goku without King Kai, and he's not going to help. They're left to wander the stars for any clues that might arise. The only person in the group that has prior experience to even being in space was Krillin, and so the gang are desperately looking to him to try and spot any hints as to the New Namek's whereabouts. But let's be real here, that's a very desperate tactic and they know it. and when they realize that they can't keep traveling aimlessly around the galaxy hoping to just bump into New Namek, they realize that they might have to think laterally here. What is a planet that they know exists? Well, how about that one that Goku went to after the old Namek blew up, where he was for about a year and a half? Maybe they could find help there on the only other planet they can think of right now. That's, of course, Yardrat. Now, as you know, Yardrat is the place where Goku learned his instant transmission technique. So imagine them learning it. That could be really handy on the battlefield. They could escape any kind of danger and also save a ton when it comes to fuel costs for transportation without the risk of getting bugs in their eyes from flying too. It's really convenient. Being able to at least return to Earth and get some supplies every now and again, that would be really, really neat too. However, Paragus doesn't take too kindly to this detour initially, as it doesn't seem to be something that would benefit him or his son in any way. Paragus then informs the group with a little intel about these Yardratians to try and make himself seem like he's playing along and being a team player, and his personal prognosis is not exactly glowing. He surmises that they're not known to be warriors, which should come as a disappointment if their modus operandi here was just to simply get stronger. These creatures, the Yardratians, were seen in his day amongst the Saiyan ranks as more of a bunch of oddballs and tricksters, full of gimmicks and very lucky to have been of little interest to the likes of Frieza. He considered these little things too weird to deal with and would therefore put off constantly the day or necessity to actually go there and invade Yardrat, procrastinating at its finest. That being said, it's not Vampa at least, and any planet that isn't that is a welcome change of pace. So for now, he's not going to stop them. Anything is better than Vampa right now. He won't make a move against them, as well as the lumbering robot, who seems to be getting a little too close to his son for his liking. Now speaking of, 16 hasn't been sitting around idly for all this time just because he's a robot. Thanks to his father's secret hiding place for him, 16 was able to pay a lot of attention to stuff that was going on the ship and really understand it inside and out. He is able to pass the data on board, and by tapping into the computer's database, something he would regularly do, 16 manages to track planet Yardrat, and our heroes get there with subsequent ease. Broly has no idea what's going on right now, but he finds 16's skills pretty impressive. They are almost there, but I think there's one thing that they haven't taken into account here, and they're on it. They are in the Galactic Emperor's mothership? Imagine the reaction of all the people on Yardrat on the surface, looking up to the sky, and then they see Frieza's capital ship coming into view, and then landing on their homeworld. I don't think it's going to be a warm welcome. I bet it's going to be brown trousers time on there for many of them. And in next to no time, they are ready to brace themselves for a potential invasion. A literal legion of Yardratians are there, uncertain about their future, and feeling even more uncertain when the first person to emerge from the craft is not who they expect. Krillin quickly comes out, man, Frieza changed a lot, and assures them that they come in peace. But since these guys are a bunch of tricksters themselves, they assume that this is a trick. Now, in a rather comical scene, the Yardratians mistake Krillin for Frieza's new form. They heard some kind of rumour that, Frieza could do that, which gives Paragus and the others a good laugh, but they calm down when they learn that they are seriously Goku's friends from planet Earth, and are even happier when they find out that Frieza is no longer alive and these clowns are just joyriding the ship, and that his empire's falling apart as they speak. No more Frieza to worry about. So Krillin decides to roll along with this and claim that it was he that saw to that. Now that is a trick right there, if you ask me. They then inform the aliens of the purpose of their visit, that their friend had passed, and that they were searching for the Dragon Balls of New Namek, and the location of New Namek as well, having no idea where it might be. However, the aliens are a little distracted at the sight of a giant Saiyan right before them. They seem a bit confused about the collar around Broly's neck. What could that be used for? But they decide not to dwell on this topic too much. He looks quite big and strong. Yeah, not worth risking. But that said, most of the Yardratians just disappear, leaving only 3. So much for that welcoming crowd. What could this be all about then? Well, You know how the Yardratians taught Goku instant transmission? Well, that's not the only thing that he could have learned from them whilst he was there. It turns out that the Yardratians were using their spirit control to create clones of themselves to appear more numerous, in order to give their people time to hide much sooner when they thought that Frieza was about to loom down on them. But seeing that their guests are not enemies at all and Frieza's nowhere to be seen, they offer them the chance to try and learn spirit control, like Goku had done. Friends of Goku are friends of theirs. The three humans are then taken to the Elder, while Paragus decides to pass on this opportunity and interlude and decides to stay on the ship with Broly, making the most of its luxuries that were deemed worthy by the Galactic Emperor not long ago. And that's including a well-stocked store of rosé. Broly wants to go training with the gang as well, but knows that it probably might not be the best idea, that his father would probably oppose this. That collar is a symbol of his father's lack of trust, and Paragus will not risk a wobbler from Broly anytime soon. 16 decides though to keep him company, whilst also keeping an eye on Paragus. Our three humans meet Pibara, the Yardratian elder who taught Goku instant transmission. He is more than happy to see what Goku's pals can do, but warns them immediately that the training to acquire spirit control is anything but instant. He says that it took Goku 150 days to complete his training, and wishes them luck. Now, to bolster their morale, he also shows them the possibilities of spirit control itself, what they could learn, and this includes multiform, gigantification, and of course the old chestnut that is instant transmission. He also says that if they pass the training, they will be able to sense energy even better than they do already, which makes Krillin realize that he might be able to use that to try and lock onto Dende's energy reading, because it's quite weak, and teleport himself to New Namek directly, which actually makes Tenshinhan a perfect student for this sort of thing. Pibara is really surprised by the Triclops' potential. He has so much discipline, unlike Goku at all. And Krillin is super determined as well, but has initial problems with focus due to the pressure of it all. But the Yardratians decide to teach him some advice about relaxing, sensing his desire to step up. On the other hand though is Yamcha, who is too relaxed, and manages to turn his meditation into a nap a couple of times, but he still makes progress, whilst also providing Pibara a little bit of comic relief. At the same time, 16 teaches Broly how to read, and shows him the basics about the universe, as well as showing how it works using the encyclopedic indices from the ship. Paragus, on the other hand, grows a bit slothful and a bit decadent. He no longer has a sense of purpose right now. He doesn't need to worry about anything anymore. His son seems to be quite docile right now, no flare-ups, his enemies are gone, and these people right now that are training will probably get him some kind of wish-granting orbs in the future to then make life even easier, so yeah, he might as well make the most of this and rest. Broly is a little saddened by his father's lethargy though, but takes solace in 16's lessons. Tenshinhan manages to finish the Yardratian training in merely 130 days, largely to his previous experiences with things such as multiform. He is able to teleport to Earth, startling everyone and inform them that they are on the case, and now it will be even easier for them to travel back and forth. Krillin is the second one to finish, 3 weeks later. He then takes some time to meditate in order to try and find Dende. Yamcha takes 174 days, but in the end, he does get it. The first thing he does with this power though, is to teleport to Kame House and scare the living daylights out of Puar as Giant Yamcha. He gets some serious words from Bulma though, and teleports back to Yardrat. And after several days, Krillin has managed to find New Namek, and he and Yamcha decide to pay them a visit, teleporting there, leaving Tenshinhan and 16 to guard Broly. They decide to make the most of the fact that Paragus has become quite hedonistic and not really paying attention to Broly, his guard down, to then take his son to see the Yardratians. Spirit control training should help him with his anger issues, and that in their minds could convince Paragus to really get off Broly's case and maybe take off the collar, thusly freeing Broly. However, since time may be limited, Broly doesn't get the full training regime, as Pibara deems that the collar is not really helping, limiting his potential, and is always on his mind. But he can still teach Broly some stuff about meditation. 16 jokingly states that he wishes that he could improve by training too, but since he is merely mechanical, meditation does not really compute to him. Tenshinhan is surprised that the android is capable of actually making jokes, which makes him soften up to the droid a little bit. The Namekians then help our heroes to gather the Dragon Balls, and they wish back Piccolo and Goku to plenty of relief. And in the meantime, Gohan and Bulma gather the returned Earth Dragon Balls to then wish everyone else back. Our heroes then decide to regroup on the ship and return to Earth in their own time. Their mission complete, and then some. They are aware that they have to prepare for the stranger who might show up at any moment, and Goku has to return to perfect health after still having to deal with the after effects of the heart virus. Just because he's alive again doesn't mean he's cured. They also know that 16, Broly, and even Paragus are potential assets in the upcoming fight. They might be handy. Despite the fact that Paragus would still want that leverage about, the Dragon Balls, and then having to find out about the existence of Vegeta. But they will worry about this later. For now, they're going home. Meanwhile, the mysterious stranger appears before a small potato-headed figure. He is aware of his plan to awake an ancient evil that was sealed somewhere in this universe. The stranger is happy to tell the little wizard a little clue or two where he needs to go, and offers some energy to help make this process go even faster. Being aware that he can't control this individual, Babidi agrees and starts his journey towards planet Earth, while the stranger vanishes in a time distortion. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Will Paragus be okay with this new plan? How will Boo cause problems earlier in the timeline? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!